Right, we're back. Episode 18. I'm drinking coffee in this one, I don't care what you say. It is Beyond the Battlefield, and we have a Kiwi with us today. We've got Mr. Zane McCormack, who's got a cool story to tell us. Thank you for people that are watching. Thank you for people that have subscribed. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, hit it now. Watch it on Apple, watch it on Spotify, watch it on all the major podcast channels. But please subscribe, like, share, and push the message out as much as you can. Good morning.
Good morning, Ollie.
A Kiwi in the UK, and you're a copper, ex-copper.
Ex-copper, yes. Usually make sure that's
yeah. Do you know I did a few minutes in the police? Told people this story once or twice. Yes, I was in laughing. I won't tell you the story. I'll tell you off air. But I got sacked, so I'm invited to leave, as I call it, from basic training. So that was back in 2004. Wouldn't have been the right move for me. Joined the Royal Marines, so it was much better. But yeah, didn't suit me. So I'm interested to hear about your experience within the police, if you're willing to share that. But you're a burnout coach.
Yes.
So we have some very similar experiences of what we do. And you're a rower. And your 2K was?
No, I'm not gonna. No, we spoke about this earlier. And I'm keeping everything off
but it was
the record. It was.
Well, it was quicker than me, which was disappointing. But you were an actual rower. I was never a rower. I was an indoor rower.
Yeah.
So doesn't really count. But listen, really interested to hear your story, and I appreciate you coming down, mate. Where do you want to start? How did you become a burnout coach? Give us a.
I think probably the best place to start is Heathrow. When I pushed up here, sort of in the end of '99, came over just for a couple of years. I was 24, had an opportunity to come over and play rugby. So I got flown over by a local club. Just looked to travel, play the rugby, and see where it took me. And 25 years later, I'm still here.
But when you came over to play rugby, do you mean on like a tour, or you?
No. I came over. Club flew me over to play for them. So
right,
local club here in Tiverton.
Yeah,
in Devon here. So,
amazing.
Yeah, it was. I had a friend who was already over here playing. I was looking at travelling anyway. My girlfriend at the time was coming over, so I thought, easy way to go for a year fare. So,
had you been to the UK before?
No. So what happened was, I had a couple of clubs on the table. A couple of them up north, up in Yorkshire way, and one down in Devon. And I figured if I'm coming to the UK, I want to get as far south as possible for the winter. So looked at the map, saw Tiverton there. So that ticked the box. Wasn't too sure what Devon was all about, so I thought I'd do a bit of research. So I watched a couple of episodes of Emmerdale Farm. Thought I had it all squared away.
Is that based in Devon?
No.
I watched that about 20 years ago. You've not got a Devon twang yet?
No.
Slightly disappointing.
No, it's all over the place now.
Yeah. It was still very strong Kiwi accent to me.
Oh, yeah, well, we're in home now. I'm accused of being a pond, so I don't know what's going on.
Do you go in much?
Not as much as I'd like. Since COVID, things are getting quite expensive with airfares. But looking at getting the family back this Christmas, so...
It's always nice to know when people, what they do now, why they do it, like coaches, people that come on this podcast, why they tell their stories. There always has to be like a positive spin to it. You can't just come on and go, oh shit, and everything's crap. And I made that clear because it's that inspiration that we want to give people that might be watching, they're in that same position. Tell us on your paperwork that I asked you to very kindly fill out, and you mentioned about collapsing as a copper, which led to perhaps why you're here now.
Yeah, so like I said, I came over playing rugby, met and married the mother of my children, since divorced her as well, and then joined the police. So I had 16 years of Devon in Cornwall, and so like I say, life caught up, had a divorce sort of over here in the UK, sort of 12,000 miles away from support networks, working in the police, trying to sort of manage that with the young family as well and everything else that was going on, and thought I was doing okay, and then just before lockdown. So 2020 was a bit of a pivotal year for a lot of people, but for me it was quite a big one. So driving to work one day, I'd had a conversation with a partner at the time. That day she'd be a little bit concerned about a few things I was saying, how I was sort of behaving. I'd dropped the F-bomb on her, and I'll talk about the F-bomb, the 4-letter F word. I'm fine. And I genuinely thought I was fine. Everything, the divorce had been finalised. I was finally in my own, bought my property, I was in there, everything looked like it was settled. And then driving to work for a late shift around 2 o'clock. I had a phone call, so I pulled over, took a phone call, and then I don't remember much for the next 10 days. I don't know what was said on the phone call, but all I remember is this feeling of a void opening up under me and a vortex sucking me in and not knowing what was going on. I I've got vague recollections of the day. I remember it was my partner at the time who called me. She all of a sudden appeared by the window of the door. I was in Wellington at the time, so I'd driven from Taunton to Wellington. She was working in Bridgewater. So clearly it had taken her a while to get to me, but it felt like a couple of minutes. She got me home. I sort of called in saying that I'm not feeling very well, didn't make too much of it. The next day I realised I was in a bit of a pickle, so I put the balloon up in regards to what was going on. The next 10 days were interesting. So I didn't know it was 10 days, just from looking at my diary. I had appointments with Occy Health, with GP. I remember having a phone call with the Police Rehabilitation Centre and being told I was too unwell for them, that they needed to speak to me once I'd calmed down. I remember walking a lot, and only because I was checking my phone at the end of it all, and saw that the health app on my phone was obviously recording my steps. I was getting sort of 30, 40,000 steps in a day. I don't remember those walks. But what I do remember is not sleeping, not eating, having moments where I realised I hadn't eaten for a couple of days. So chopping some toast down, some wheat bix,
This from sitting in your car and just having some sort of neurological breakdown?
Yeah.
Where the body just shut down?
Yeah. It was specifically like something opened up under me, like a portal, and a vortex that sucked me in. That was the sensation it was.
And that's what burnout, that's real burnout.
I'd gone through all the stages. At this time, I'd never even heard the word burnout. So what happened was, one of my roles I had when I was policing, I was a search manager. So my role was coordinating the major search and rescue, mob agency jobs, with Coast Guard and Mountain Rescue and the rest of the teams. And I had a couple of particularly unpleasant jobs that I dealt with, where as a manager you had to view sort of CCTV of bits and pieces happening. And they were focusing on that, so the PTSD, CPTSD was sort of spoken about. But just taking you back to those 10 days, what happened with me is, so on one of these walks, I found myself on a motorway overbridge near Taunton. Nothing untoward, there's no thoughts of sort of harming myself, but I just remember standing there, realising that there was no traffic because we were literally days away from lockdown and everything was slowing down. And still there thinking, actually, I'm in a pickle. I knew I had like a bit of awareness I was in a bit of a pickle. And focused that 6 months previous, I had accommodation for getting a serving paratrooper off a bridge about 6 months previous to that. And just had this overwhelming thought that, and it wasn't the first time I've been on that bridge with people. It's quite a popular spot for people that were struggling. And just thought, this is ironic. All these times that I've been on the bridge being the person talking to the person in the crisis, it's the me that they're looking to for the answers. And I just had this massive, it was almost like a warm sort of feeling sort of come over me. And I thought, actually, I've been spending the last 3 days 10 days getting bounced around with different agencies, looking for answers. And actually, the person that I needed was already there. And that was me. And I liken it to that moment where, remember the Predator movie with Schwarzenegger? He's laying in the mud and the Predator's staring at him, and he's flicking through all the things. For me, it was like everything switched from black and white to HD. And I remember this it was almost like snapping back out of it, going, "What's just happened? Where am I?" Right. Walking home, swinging past the Tesco Express, buying a great big steak, taking that home and having my first proper feed in 10 days, and then sleeping for about a day. Waking up and going, right, I need a plan. And that was where this journey started.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Was there a diagnosed condition or other than what we said?
Yeah. I mean, what happened was, so obviously the police were very good. They put me in front of people very, very quickly. And at the time, sort of, CPTSD was diagnosed. They looked at everything that had been going on, all the little things. And so went through the usual sort of, by this time, by the time I got home and realised I needed to sort myself out, that night, Boris jumps on the box and locks everything down. So everything was on Zoom. Everything was online. So I went through all the as best you could online. Came back to work probably 6 weeks later. Everything seemed fine, and now I talk a lot about that in the extended talks that I give. And it was fine. And then a couple of months later, I started feeling a few things starting to go again. And this time I said, look, I'm not right. And so I went off again. Got put in front of someone else different this time. And fortunately for me, she since retired. She spent the last sort of 20 years working with uniform services, and that was pretty much her bag. And she just went through. She'd right, I'm not going to worry about the last sort of 6 months. Tell me about the last 10 years. And I just started talking everything, and she just said straight away, look, this is not PTSD. She says, you were burnt out. And that was the first time I heard the word burnout.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, I've been tired before. I've been knackered emotionally, physically, socially, mentally, but not to the extent that anywhere near the extent that you just said about this, almost like a blackout, not knowing what you're doing. Wow.
I think with it, like I say, and when it happened, it was when everything had finally been finalised with my personal situation, and my body was keeping me going long enough until it was safe to drop me on Mars.
Yeah, incredible. And that obviously, we're going to talk in the second part of this about what you do now, and that obviously gives you value and I suppose credibility. You're like, no, I've been there, I know what it's like. So
I'm a burnout prevention coach. I'm here to prevent people get to where I was. I'm not looking to deal with anyone that's acute or dealing with it. So
not burnout coach, burnout prevention. Take us back to take us back to New Zealand then. So playing rugby, rowing.
Pretty standard sort of upbringing you'd expect from a Kiwi. Grew up in sort of ruralish New Zealand, so this is before sort of the interweb. So we actually had lives, and that revolved around sports clubs. So surf lifesaving, rowing, rugby clubs. I had access to sort of mountains, not too far from me. So by the time I was 16, I had a Land Rover, a 303, and just freedom. So that's been spend my days up in the mountains. Sport and the rest of it.
Why the fuck did you come to the UK?
It was only meant to be a 50. It was.
Come over for a bit of rugby.
Yeah.
Never been to New Zealand or Australia. I only went down that way. I need to maybe put it on my hit list and get a do. Maybe I won't come back. Maybe I'll go.
That's always.
Just waiting for those bloody kids to grow up and then I'll go. So over you come, and then found yourself in the police.
In the police, realised I was staying, so I needed a proper job. I was sort of playing, coaching, and sort of messing around for a few years.
What's your reasoning behind joining the police?
I needed a proper job. We'd made a decision. I'd married. We were planning a family, and I needed a bit more stability than what the coaching was giving me. So,
did you do all the? I'm trying to think. So this was 2002 when I did it. Yeah. Did you go and do like your little role play exercises, or your little aptitude tests and all that, and then
and they still hired me.
Yeah. It was very strange that it's like if you're a good actor, you get employed.
Yeah.
But if you're super nervous, they'll be like, well, but it's such a. I did it because I was a prison officer as well. Yeah, it's going to do it for the prison, and it's like a mock setup. You get given a bit of paper that says, right, you're a supermarket manager. You're going to go into this room, and you've got to deal with, and you go in as an actor in there, kicking off or crying or something, and you've got to show the right approach.
I still don't know how I managed it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, I always say I'm the worst person to speak to. So I sort of turn up, do what you do, and hope it's what they're looking for.
I remember that. That was mad. Did you go through Ashford and Kent?
No. So by the time I joined, it was 2006. They just closed all the regional training centres, so everything came back in house.
Right.
So I did all my training down at the old agricultural college out at Seal Hain in New Campus. The police took that on for a couple of years while they were getting everything back up together at headquarters in Exeter.
You enjoyed?
Yeah, it was interesting training. I think anyone that's been through it, and the trainers themselves will say that they were having to make up on the hoof as they were going. Yeah. But all in all, it was all right.
How did the police change in 16 years?
16. Wow, how long you got? I think
because I can imagine as the world has changed massively in the last decade, and I didn't last 5 minutes, and I was a prison officer as well, like I said. But I look back now, and the way the world has worked itself now in terms of all the stuff that we know. I don't know. I don't know how coppers are coppers in the UK.
They've got some challenges even now. I've been out 2.5 years now, and I'm still in contact with low guys. In fact, this morning I was having a bit of a chat with one who's not particularly happy with the way things are moving at the moment. And it's just moving very, very quickly. I think that comes down to change as well. A lot of stuff I coach with is just being open to change, because a lot of times change, even if it's good change, it's still unsettling. And it's just been a lot of change. A lot of it for the good, some not so good, but just change in itself, it's probably the unsettling thing.
But the good stuff, of course, that you mentioned was bridge, talking, saving someone's life, power edge.
Yeah, and that was an interesting night. Like I said, I've been on that bridge a lot, with a lot of people, and this guy, it was at night. Most of the time when we get calls, someone's here, the person on the bridge is calling, people driving past are calling, their family are calling, but this was someone that my colleague and I just came across at 2 a.m. We were just driving around checking out the usual spots, and we just drove past them like, 2 o'clock in the morning on a weekday morning. The bloke was still the wrong side of the railings. So we stopped, got out, and just started chatting. And he wasn't giving any, he was just there, just not knowing what to do, just out of options.
As you approach that, what did you talk about?
Yeah,
You're training in that?
No, to be honest.
You got to use some pretty good interpersonal skills there.
Yeah. And I think the big thing that I found with it is just acknowledging that it's shit. Someone's there telling you that things are shit, just acknowledging it. Not trying to provide solutions right there and then. And just providing space to them talk. Because a lot of times when people are at that stage, one of the first things I'll do is isolate. So they probably haven't spoken to anybody for a long time. Sometimes you can be the first person they're speaking to for a long time that they've just been in their head. It's the first time I've verbally been able to sort of get it out there. Don't rush them. You've got all time in the world. Just let them talk. The one thing that I was able to give is that things have been tough for me. I was able to say, look, 12 months ago, I was in a similar spot, and here I am now. I'm now talking to you. So the wheel keeps turning. You just need to, it's just about, you think you have options, there are always options. And it's just having the heads up enough to be able to see them, getting out of your own head and heads up of it.
And it ultimately led to you leading said person off the bridge?
Yeah, they came off. We offered a few options in regards to where we take them. And we ended up just ringing D&E and walking them out. There's no need to get sort of hands on or get all officious about it.
And that's the unsung hero work that the police do.
Yeah.
You see the police criticised, and you see police on social media, enemy that is social media, people whipping their phones out, and you see all the shite that people are criticised for. But then things like that, I guess you just finish your shift and off you went, and you just
and it was luckily we had a decent skipper who wrote the job up for us, because my mate in particular, they had a bit of a rough time with himself, and needed a bit of a boost, and he was hoping to get maybe just a letter from the boss just saying thank you, but actually we got a night out for it. So we a few sandwiches and a little certificate hanging on the wall for the kids to look at.
Coffee and donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good ones too.
Well, there's obviously a massive problem, I suppose is the right word, for veterans and suicide at the moment, or always has been, but it seems to be really high at the moment. Are you comfortable with giving it? What would you say to someone who's watching this that's I get a point where, like you said, people just need to talk. Don't want solutions, just fucking listen to people.
Yeah, some people they just want, and it's not even about wanting sympathy, they just want space to really sort of get out of their head and just get everything out. Which is why, we talk a lot about now around journaling, how effective that can be. And sometimes it is just about getting those thoughts out, either on paper or with someone. And like I say, the other big thing as well is connection, because once you're isolating, even sitting out here having a chat between the two of us, sort of sharing ideas can be as much as you need. And sometimes it's just as simple as being in company where you don't have to be having those conversations, but you can if you wanted to. And that can be enough sometimes.
I know you wrote in some of your stuff here about, you're very similar to me, mate, in terms of I'm quite simplistic in my ways in terms of how I approach stuff.
Yeah.
I don't overcomplicate it. I know what I know, I don't know what I don't know. But you put here, I'll read this out, this was your message, I like this. There is a way back, and it's simpler than you think, but it's also something you need to work out for yourself. There aren't any magic hacks, apps, pills, potions that can do the work for you. So that's a mindset thing, isn't it? You have to have, there has to be an element of self-help. I know this from when I was in rehab in the military. I had all the support around me, but I still had to fucking do it.
You've still got to do the reps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like anything. Like rowing.
Yeah.
Give your training play. You've
Yeah.
got to pull that. You've got to pull the handle. And I suppose is that the philosophy you take with how you coach now? And what
Absolutely. I mean, and where I am now, it's been 5 years of working out what worked for me, but then also understanding that work for me won't work for you and won't work for somebody else. It's got to be. It's everyone's different. And it's got to be personal. And for me, the biggest challenge has been stripping back what I did to bare bones, so that people can look at a basic framework and sort of working ins and outs for themselves. So, and what I do, I talk about my 5 health pillars. So I talk about how we're moving, how we're resting, what we're consuming, our boundaries, and our quality of our relationships. And that can look different for everybody. But if we can got 5 basic hooks, hang those on. So what movement for me will be different to you, will be different for somebody else. And it's just about doing a real basic sort of framework for people to hang those hooks on. So all my coaching, when I do it, that's what I do. We unpack everything, see what's going on, and then see what's appropriate for them with using that basic framework.
Tell us about what a coaching program looks for you as speaking to a client. How does it work?
So I run full days. So I've had the last couple of weeks. So we go away somewhere and we'll spend a full day together. There's a really nice venue I use at the moment near Honiton, and it's a nice day. The food's top notch and the venues are amazing. So we go away for a day. So it's taking somebody out of their space, taking something completely different, sit them down because big ideas need a big space, and we'll just unpack. We'll spend the morning unpacking everything, and then we'll look at what's going on. So we'll have everything laid out in front, and then we'll put everything back together again with a personalised plan for them, and then kick them out the door. Give them again. There's non-negotiables. We look at it. That's all agreed on. These aren't me. It's not me sort of having them teach them how to knit muesli or anything daft like that.
So not directive.
No. Yeah, it's stuff they'll work out themselves.
Yeah.
And then it's every week it's a catch up, see how things are going.
Yeah.
Obviously unlimited. If you want messages just sort of over the week and see how things are going. But every week catching up. And what we try and do is keep it long enough. Yourself that the best laid plans never saw at first contact. So we'll always look for that pinch point, see what's going to happen, and wait. When that pinch point happens and hits, we'll look at how we reacted to it and what's going on. We use that as a template for moving forward. There's going to be more of those pinch points, and we have a dispassionate look at that.
You mentioned the F-bomb. Drop the F-bomb. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
you made that up.
Yeah,
we use that.
That's not mine. You feel free to.
But it's true. I love that. And so for someone watching this who says, "I'm fine,"
yeah, and I say,
what's the warning signs? What's the trigger points?
If people are asking, "Are you okay?" and you're saying, "I'm fine," that might be a bit of a People are concerned enough to ask you if you're okay. There might be a moment to sit back and have a proper little think about it.
I say to people, and I go, "How are you?" Right, and they go, "Yeah, I'm okay." Well, you're either great or no, I'm shit.
Yeah,
and not okay. That's supposed to sound fine, isn't it?
Yeah, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you? And you can't say 7 because 7 is just a cop out. 7's the fine,
Yeah. So what is the how can someone identify that they are potentially close to where you got to?
I think what you need to be doing is having a real look at your life and find that point when everything was flying, when you were at your best, and benchmark it against that.
In all areas. Mentally, emotionally, socially, physically, spiritually. See, there's many crossovers, obviously, what we do at Maury Wellness Movement. So holistic health and wellness, it's not just going to the gym. It's not just doing a bit of training or eating some good food. It's holistic health. And this falls nice. This is why we, wanted to bring you on and have a chat, because there's a lot of overlaps, which is fantastic. And I think wellness is becoming a bigger and bigger thing in society now. Yeah. I even looked at wellness. If you said to me 5 or 6 years ago, I was in rehab at the time, wellness, I'd have gone, what? I'm an ex-Marine, I'm just all about aggressive training and just smashing it out. Yeah. And I saw you row at rugby. Yeah. But wellness is it's huge now. And for us, what we do in terms of holistic health and wellness is about relationships with your partner, with your children, with your boss, with your peers, with your colleagues. It's about going out for walks, appreciating nature. It's about mindfulness. It's about going to bed on time, drinking water, being a good human. That's a massive one for me. I spoke about this in other podcasts about the values. Yeah. What's your values? For me, it's not being a dick, being a good human. This is about wellness, how we look after ourselves.
And it's harder not to be sick when you're fucked.
Yeah. And again, I spoke about this on the podcast. Full-time rehabilitation for me was 2 years, taken out of service, put into a rehabilitation unit as a patient when I was a physical training instructor. Had my identity stripped to me. I was now a patient, and I was a dick because I was in so much pain, mentally, physically, all the things, and it took me ages to accept help. Very defensive, but it took me ages, and that's why now when I speak to people about their health, about their wellness, about being overweight, not moving enough, getting ill, burnout, it's like we need this ability to ask for help. The last guest we had on, Christine, we were talking about this, about generally as humans we're not very good at asking for help.
No,
certainly us men.
We're not good at being vulnerable, and it does take a lot sometimes to open up. And it's about feeling safe enough to do it, because a lot of times with people you find they've opened up and and then shut down, and that's it. And like I say, when you're talking to people that are in crisis, like I say, it wasn't just Bridges, policing. I'd say 80% of policing is dealing with people in crisis, whether it's personal, and then the rest of it. Having these conversations at 2 o'clock in the morning on bathroom floors, in kitchens, in wild areas, and it's just understanding that when you're there, you've got one chance. That then if you cock it up, then they shut down, and that's it.
You can't be on the bad days of Cobra Candy.
No.
You're on the ball.
Especially now.
Do you think that's led to where you got to in terms of burnout? Because you're not looking after yourself?
You know what? No. What happened? No. For me, at the moment, the definition of burnout is around unmanaged workplace stress. I have an issue with that. I think the World Health Organization are going to be having a big rethink of that. Because for me, work was always work, and I was keeping it together at work, but my personal life was actually bin fine, and that was the issue. I just didn't have a part of my life that was recharging. I was coming to work, having to put the uniform on, turn up, and keep it together at work, and dealing with everyone else's shit, and then coming home and not having anywhere to be able to relax and to be able to recharge. And I talk about that everyone seems to think that burnout, and keeping yourself well, isn't about how well you're training. You know yourself as an athlete. It's not what you're doing in the gym. It's how well you're resting afterwards, that where your gains are made. And if you're going to the gym every day and it's you max out every day, you're not going to be PBing any time ever. It's much about how you're resting and how you're recuperating afterwards. If you're looking to keep yourself at the peak fitness.
We do live in a world that is crazy busy now.
Yeah,
I think any generation would argue that theirs was the busiest and most stressful, but it brings new challenges in the day and age that we live in now. Like this morning, I was talking before we started recording. Everything's just going wrong this morning. I've got school runs to do.
Yeah.
It's pissing down with rain. Roads were closed. Bin lorries are in the way. I've got my mum sending me messages, needing something. It's just relentless, running the business, running this. So this is why, again, what we do is so important.
Yeah.
Do you find it? Do you practice what you preach? Are you good?
I try. I think, I try. I think that's probably the best we can do. It's about being easy with yourself as well.
Yeah.
Understanding that you're not going to be on every day.
Yeah.
Some days it's just not going to happen. And give yourself permission to accept that.
Yeah.
And not beat yourself up about it.
Do you learn though? From coaching people, do you find you learn?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more I say stuff to clients, the more I repeat my message. I finish that call and go, a bit hypocritical that, really.
Yeah.
I should be maybe doing this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But that's life, and I'm very honest with my clients, and I'm very honest on my social medias about why I'm here, what I've done, and that we're not perfect. I don't try and be someone I'm not. I'm going out. I'm a father. I've been divorced. I've had deaths in the family. All that. Life is tough.
Yeah.
Life is tough. And this is where you have to look after yourself in so many ways. Give us some success stories from clients that you've worked with. How would you identify success? What's the measure?
I think it's just seeing them leave and getting on with it, because we sit down and we talk about sort of the usual sort of coaching stuff. What's your 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plan? And it's seeing people, and it's not even about whether they're achieving themselves, it's about being able to give it their best shot. they've been in a position where they're able to give it 100% and not be sort of held back by the stuff that was bothering them before. And that's usually enough. Guys, I had people come to me that have, and I say just diet options and left with options and have been able to work on them. So, I mean, I had one client, he's posting the other day, sort of, with work all of a sudden, he's a couple of big promotions at us. I sort of, and this wouldn't have been possible 18 months ago, and that's quite nice.
What's the vision for your real pursuits?
Yeah, that's interesting because of there's a few things in the pipeline. We're having this conversation earlier about a friend of ours and his business and how it's really thriving now that he's met the right partner. And I've just been having a conversation with someone recently about that. So the plan is retreats, is getting people away and really taking it from there. I think what I'm finding with my days is just the power of removing people from their current situation and put them somewhere different, and front loading with a lot of information is a powerful tool.
I think, like I mentioned earlier about wellness and being a big thing now, I would say there's never been so much more support, coaching, retreats, etc., health for people to get involved in. It's all there.
My issue with the whole wellness word is at the moment there's still a connotation that it's about entitlement, and when really it's about empowerment. And at the moment, like I say, a lot of the wellness solutions are wrapped up in, like I say, pills, potions, apps or hacks, and it's it's not the way forward. It's at best boasting, or at best a crutch, and at worst, sort of really limiting people for actually pushing on and getting on themselves.
But again, that's why we need to, like you said, go back to prevention rather than waiting. So for me, it's most people come to me because the wheels have fallen off. And then we've got to rebuild them. That's why we do a 12-month program, coaching program to rebuild people and reprogram mindsets, behavioural traits, etc., using CBT, etc. I was at a job fair, if you like, a veterans job fair Monday, and I started talking to people about trying to capture people as they leave the military or leave the services or leave blue light, rather than waiting 10, 15 years and then the wheels are falling off and they end up. My program is trying to capture them before that. So it goes back to, again, exactly, prevention to the cure. And that's where I think wellness comes into it, and everything we do in mindfulness, in how we conduct ourselves, all the stuff that I spoke about. But it's cool. I love it. Absolutely love it. I want to know more about the police stuff with you.
Right.
What's the career that I missed?
What's the career you missed?
What's the career I missed?
Oh.
Give me some highs. Give me some highs. Give me some lows.
Chased with a bank robber one day. He'd just done a blag. He'd held up the post office, stuck a shooter in the post officer's face, ran off. I found him, chased him, tasered him.
On foot.
That was a good day.
Still had good pace. Yeah. Can rowers run? I could never run.
Oh, mate, he wasn't much of an athlete, to be fair. I always say if I keep pace for them for 5 minutes, they usually blow out. Yeah. The villains usually aren't training.
Training.
No, they're not worrying too much about
if you're a villain watching this, you need to do some training.
You want to get your VO2 up. You need to do an UT2.
Can you remember what the bleed test standards were when you joined?
No. 6. He's down to 5 now.
You can moonwalk that.
Yeah, you can run it. I know one guy did it backwards. He was expert now. He did it backwards just to prove the point.
Yeah, you could leopard crawl it. 100%. You seriously could. That's absolutely shocking. Yeah. I know it was low when I joined.
Yeah, they used to make an argument. There's a few people sort of saying, maybe it needs to be lower for the older gentlemen and sort of other people. I said, I think you find that it's actually already at that level for abilities.
Is there, did they have that pull and push on the
dyno? On dyno, yeah.
Yeah. Again, you could blow it and it'll
40. I think lost it.
Yeah. Dangerously low standards that, and it's probably gone down since 2002-3 when I did it. Yeah.
And they weren't absolutes either. They were.
But again, that pisses me off because it goes back to health and wellness and fitness and where we are as a society. The stats that I've currently looked at, 'cause I announced it on stage the other day when I was talking, is 64.2% of the UK adult population are overweight and obese. And someone will go, oh yeah, but that's BMI, rubbish. It's not rubbish. I know it's an outdated system, but we're not. You only have to look around the street and look at people and go, we don't even need to have a BMI scale, but we need something. people say, oh yeah, but muscle weighs more than fat. If nobody's walking around absolutely hench, they're not. Look around you.
Yeah.
And then it transfers into jobs. I mean, military standards, I think they've dropped, but I can't imagine it's the same as it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, because society's changing.
And on a basic physiological level, your brain needs your body to be moving for it to operate properly. And we talk a lot about sort of mental health and the rest of it, but our brains are just physiological muscles, and they get impacted by sort of physiological conditions. You need to be moving to keep a healthy brain. You need a healthy brain to make healthy decisions.
And we are sedentary as fuck. Yeah. Like beyond belief. And I preach about this all the time. I go on about it. Go back into the police. Come on. What'd you get to?
No, it's constable PC.
Yeah. Did you have ambition?
I had a mission when I started.
Yeah.
They got slowly beaten out of me as I was in the long run. No, but for me, it wasn't so much about promotion. It was about sort of taking on roles that I enjoyed. And the one I did do, like I said, I was an LPSM, so lost person search manager, and I loved that role. I think if there was talk about having a full-time cadre of LPSMs, because before you'd be an LPSM and you get distracted from regular duties. So the job came in, you get a call and you'd go deal with the job and then go back to regular duties. And there was argument that if they had people just doing it all the time, you'd get better quality search results. PSU, so the riot police, for want of a better word. So I did that as well. That was always a nice little duty.
Yeah.
In the vans on the weekend, we'd go up and pretend to be police officers, and all the villains would pretend to be hooligans, and we'd all have a bit of the cosplay together.
Where do you do the training for that?
It's locally, so we do it all down there Oakhampton.
Yeah. So, where you get the shields out and everything.
Yeah.
We did. I remember being a young Marine, and it was somewhere in Petersfield up in Hampshire. We just got a call one day and said, come and play enemy for the young officers.
Yeah.
The young officers were doing riot training, and you go into this mock village. You stay there for basically 2 or 3 days and just get their beer in and just sit around drinking and causing trouble.
Yeah.
And you're encouraged to cause trouble with limitations. So there were petrol bombs that they were thrown by the DS, by the staff, but we would be sent out just to go and cause trouble. So 30 blokes would go out, they'd all get the shields out. Mate, we didn't hold back. We were leathering people. Like, I'm sure it was the same for you. Like whoever was playing enemy or the villain.
No, train as you play.
Yeah.
So when you're doing it, and it's all Roman infantry tactics. Tuxedos, get the shields up, and the rest of it. So you've got to have prop missiles coming in, because you're all killed up, trash as kit. But when you're getting up something heavy in the face.
Yeah.
One thing they used to use is the old rubber bullets.
Yeah.
Get those banging at you as hard as you can.
Yeah. We were encouraged to try and nab people off the side.
Yeah.
Grab them, give them a bit of a kick in.
Yep. It's part of it is obviously don't go rogue.
Yeah.
Stay in your formation.
Yeah. It's good. I also remember being a prison officer and doing CNR training, so control and restraint training.
Well, we did tornado training as well.
Which is
the prison take.
Right, okay.
So we there's a point there where the prisons were maybe potentially a bit of support. So we got tornado qualified.
Yeah.
To do prisons. That's a whole different kettle of fish to on the streets.
Well, CNR, so CNR training is obviously in a cell. It's small. 3 people go in a formation, shield, take prisoner down, control and restraint. Fucking hell, that's hard work. When we had one of the guys, and I'll never forget his name. He's called Dave Gargan. He was a ex-para, and he was the prisoner that day. So he gets kitted up in a mask, big bloke, big 16 stone bloke.
Yeah.
So me, I remember there was a girl with me. She was really small, and there was another guy called Simon. Never forget this. We went in and had to take him down. The hardest thing I've ever had to do. Trying to pull this guy down and sit on him and put him in locks and get locks on. And
because you can't just go in London.
No, that's it. You can't go away. I've got to have one arm. The other's got. Someone's got to have the head. You've got to stick to what you've just been taught. And he's like a big bloke, and he is fighting.
Yeah,
he is fighting. And we got there in the end. But 20 minutes of that, I had a newfound respect for people who do martial arts. It's absolutely hang out.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through doors before, and amazing the other side covered in baby oil.
Yeah,
waiting for you.
Winner.
Yeah, winner. It's like a little like wrestling a pig in there, sort of trying to get control.
Yeah. Ever fancied prison service?
No.
Back in the day? No.
I had a friend's father who was a governor at a local prison.
Yeah.
So I used to stay there quite a bit. There's a night and we lived here, and no.
I was Young Offenders Institute. That was a felon. I was quite. Yeah. I enjoyed that. I only left to go and join the police, and obviously ended up joining the Royal Marines, but. But yeah, it's. Do you still play rugby?
In my head, yes. But the reality is, no, I've popped down at the old club in the season. They have, really good seasons. So I went in and saw the last couple of matches. And I saw the lads there, and, it's all the lads I play with, sons now doing it. And I looked out, I could probably do a job for 20 minutes. I know things start popping and tweaking, and I know it takes a lot longer than a couple of days to get over that stuff now.
Yeah.
So I think my days are done.
You got daughter?
Daughter? Yeah.
Any rugby?
No, she's a netballer. Very good netballer. She's up at Hartbury College.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's up there on their athlete pathway scheme. So she's playing for the first team up there and doing really well. Really well.
Yeah.
She's absolutely where she needs to be with her sport.
Amazing.
Yeah, and a son who he could be. When we was playing rugby, he was quick and he in the hands, but it's just not his day. But he's more into his outdoor edit. So he's getting this kayaking, this climbing, and all that, which is nice. Sort of seeing him finding his way.
Yeah, do you find that? So I've got lads, I've got a little girl as well. You can only lead them best you can. Yeah. I'm not forced to tell them. I mean, my lad comes and trains with me, which is amazing. And he started doing CrossFit a couple of years ago. Not that I ever done CrossFit or got any interest in it whatsoever, other than it's a bit of movement. But he started doing that, and I never pushed him. But what he did, he saw me over the last 10 years training, rowing, lifting weights, banging out press ups.
Yes, it's really important. So their mum's a PE teacher, and she played competitively. Captained her netball club for right until her early 40s. Was still first team player. So they saw her doing that. They saw me with my on the roller and sort of in the gym as well. And it's important. Mm-hmm. And they both stay quite active.
Any of them jump to the row machine?
You know what? My daughter, I keep she's 6 foot. She's 17, 6 foot. And I said to her, if netball doesn't work out, in rugby as well, she's strong, and she played for the school netball rugby team and was good. But she's got up to Hartbury. Up there, they've got athletes rugby and rowing.
And rowing, Randy's big at Hartbury.
Yeah. She said she never sees the rowing girls, and they just train all the time.
Yeah,
she doesn't see them, and the rugby girls are always just battered.
Yeah.
So she's found the right sport. All this stuff's indoors. Yeah.
Yeah. So my bestest friend, he was a coach at Hartbury. Now it's GB rowing, but I know Hartbury. Is it the Hartbury Start program? I think it's called. Big on rowing.
She's seen how they train as well.
Yeah.
They're scared now.
Yeah, it'll be a different breed to be a rower.
Yeah, if you do. Yeah. You just got to be comfortable putting yourself in that dark place and staying there.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's not just those hard, intense sessions like that we mentioned, but it's, as you know, volume.
Yeah,
volume training, 18Ks day in, day out.
Yeah, and it's just about doing the work. There's nothing flashy about it, and it's just about getting on and doing the work.
Yeah,
away from the away from the gram, away from all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Nothing Instagrammable about your road, is there?
Yeah.
Sitting there for an hour grinding.
Certainly from your day, so the Kiwis, the Aussies, British, and who was the other big nation maybe 20 years ago, maybe Canada, that dominated, are still, to my knowledge, from my inside knowledge, they're still using the same philosophy when it comes to physiology in terms of volume.
Yeah.
Volume, and volume. And then obviously peaking at the right time. So like I said, it's putting in the graft, it's putting in the hard work. And that will never change. And that's, before we came in here about rowing, and wasn't on the water. I went on the water once or twice and I really enjoyed it, but never pursued it. So it was all indoor stuff. I loved the discipline and it was just me. No one else can help me change those numbers but me. And that was the addictive nature that I had, that maybe I've got in coaching, in business, in what I've done in my life, all this sort of stuff. But for me, rowing, about seeing these numbers, and I made that little comeback I told you about last year, that gave me my, what I call structure, purpose, and fulfillment, which I talk to my clients about. Yeah, that
I'll pinch that.
Yeah, structure, purpose, fulfillment. Yeah, we'll trade it. But again, that's probably why you've fallen back into it as well, and why rowing can be so popular on so many levels. But certainly a higher level, it's fucking relentless. Like, it is relentless. And you just look at the athletes that won medals or challenged for medals, and there's a respect I have for them for putting themselves through that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a cousin that rowed New Zealand juniors, and it's just a different level at that when you're going at that level. I was rowing to a club, and then I was surf life saving with the surf boats after that. But Matt was picked up, and just seeing what he was doing was sorry the word humbling when you made cousins sort of
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. My lad's he jumped on it a few times. He likes lifting big heavy weights. He did a 120 deadlift at 15 years old the other day. At 6'2" that he is. He's bigger than me actually now. I say he'd be a great rower. He'd build for rowing.
Be good at whatever he does though.
Yeah. And again, I just let him sort of float and lead him the right way. But it's cool. Let's finish up, mate, with some more stuff about your business. Plug away. Tell us more about what you do, how you do it, who you're looking for.
Right. So nice and easy. To find me, ZaneMcCormack.com. As simple as that. Luckily, my mother was a bit of visionary back in the 70s with SEO. So unsurprisingly, my name wasn't taken when I went to get the domain names.
Yeah.
So search me up on that. So speaking, coaching, and training. So keynote. Getting up and talking about my experience, about where I'm from, what I did. Coaching, one-to-one coaching is what I do. I can come in and work with teams as well. And what I want to be working with are founders, entrepreneurs, senior managers, management teams in particular, because we both know that culture eats strategy for breakfast. So you can sit there in your C-suite sort of planning your year as much as you like, but if it's going wrong up top, then everything filters down. So leaders. I think that's probably
lovely, mate. We'll put links. We'll put links below as this comes out. But Zane, look, we could talk again. I loved listening to you. I loved your story. I loved it in the nicest way of having 10 days of shit has built you into what you do now and what you know now, and you can obviously help people because you can go, I've been there. I know what it's like. Yeah. It's like anything that you do in life. What I do, I like preaching because I've been in those situations and I do it and I help people. So listen, those that are watching, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit subscribe on YouTube. Let's push this message out beyond the battlefields. Like it, share it, tell your friends. If you want to be a guest, come and speak to me, come and tell your story, inspire the masses. But Zane, absolute pleasure, my man.
Fantastic, Thank you a lot.
Cheers.
Okay.